Good morning, and welcome to what is the beginning of a very packed month of video game content. We really have a very packed, start of the year, if we're really being honest with ourselves about what we have here. We have January wasn't the strongest month. Let's just get out there and say it. Even though, technically, the game we're talking about today, Hi-Fi Rush, did come out in January, it still isn't quite, for me, anytime a game comes out, give me a week, and then I'll have thoughts on it. I do a first impression. That's what this is. This is Beware of Spoilers, first impressions, which is where we sit down and we talk about our first impressions of games. And it takes about a week for me to get through enough of the game to have a thought on it, and here we are. So technically this came out in January, but we have a very stacked month. We have this today. Next week, around this time, or maybe on Tuesday, we're going to have another episode about SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. Then we're going to have Hogwarts Legacy. Then we're going to have Tales of Symphonia, the remaster. Then we're going to have, what was the other one? Kirby Return to Dreamland. And it's all happening this month. And then we also have, Legend of Zelda coming this year. We also have, there's a bunch of games. Maybe Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, if I feel like it. Though that Battle Pass league didn't exactly inspire me with interest. It did kind of kill my interest a little bit. Because look, I don't have a problem with the Battle Pass system. I really don't. I just think if you're going to have the Battle Pass system, don't charge me $70 up front for the game and then have the Battle Pass be separate. Just simple things. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about a game that was self-released on Xbox and on PC. Now, I played it on PC because I don't have an Xbox Series X, nor do I ever foresee myself getting one, to be completely honest. And I think that comes down to, and I talk about it at work with people every once in a while. We'll talk about video games, and it's, if you're going to get a console, it all comes down to which controller feels more comfortable in your hand, between the Xbox and the PlayStation, and exclusives, especially if you're not going to go for the exclusives. If you're not going for, Bethesda games, then the PlayStation is your jam. If you don't go for JRPGs, then the Xbox is your jam. But, for me, I don't mind Bethesda games. Case in point, this one is a Bethesda sub-studio that produced Hi-Fi Rush, and I did really enjoy this game. But I don't think that... I would rather have Square first party from PlayStation. And I think PlayStation has better first party games, just in general, across the board. Now, and the thing is, too, it's I grew up with the DualShock. I had the DualShock, on the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and then when I eventually got an Xbox, I was like, this just feels kind of clunky and like an implement for home defense in a pinch, in the same way the Dune book can be used that way. Now, I think that looking at what we have going on here, with Hi-Fi Rush, you play as this guy who, he goes to Vandelay Industries, not to become their latex salesman, but to try and get a cybernetic enhancement so that way he can get a better job. And he has to, undress to go through the surgery. He leaves his iPod in the thing. Then there's a snafu that happens where, as he's going through the surgery, the iPod ends up falling into where he's doing, into where the surgery is happening. So the iPod is sitting on his, it ends up in his, for lack of a better word, arc reactor, and it causes all of reality to sync to his music. And what you end up doing is you end up having to run around the world and just beat the shit out of robots as you try to escape Vandal. I know it's not Vandelay Industries, but it's funnier Vandelay Industries. So you have to do all of that, and the combat is great. And first, let's talk about the art style, because this is the thing that really caught my eye the first time. Is that when I saw the trailer and I saw gameplay for it in that as part of the Xbox developer showcase they did last week. When I saw that, I was blown away to an extent, because it's this looks so great. like, we talk about cell shading and how cell shading is done, and I don't think I've seen a cell shaded game that looks quite this good, and it's just so beautiful the entire way through the game. And then on top of that, for it to, like, it looks like, and as I was playing it, I'm like, this feels like Beautiful Joe. That was the game that gave me the most vibes of that same art style with, collectibles, and then having to buy upgrades and buy attacks and all of that. And I'm like, this is a rewarding gameplay loop that is cool. Having to synchronize your motions to the music is such a fun asset of the game that makes it, work so much better than just, what's going for here, than just a straight beat 'em up, because it adds a level of skill to the game in a way that a lot of other games that are like this don't have that, where it just go through, beat the fuck out of everything, and go. Now, I played on normal. I didn't play on any of the harder difficulties because I'm a scrub, and I still found a certain level of difficulty to it that did make the game, like, hard, but not debilitatingly hard to the point where I'm like, fuck this, let me put this down and never play it again, which is a very fine line to walk. Whereas, like, there are plenty of games that I'm like, I'm playing games as an escape. I'm playing games to relax. If your game is too hard, fuck you, I'm out. I'm gonna do something else. And I think that Hi-Fi Rush really straddles that line nicely, of being difficult, rewardingly difficult, and continuously interesting in that regard. The collectibles are all fun to find, and it's a game where, it is kind of linear, each level, but you want to go out and explore. You're going to want to go and look through the entire world and really try and get acquainted with the entirety of of what's going on. The boss battles have a fun amount of difficulty to them, and that is, I think the boss battles is where the synchronicity of it all really shines, because even the boss's movements are in tune to the music, and it's just, you can kind of tell, like, if you can keep track of where it is in the song, you can kind of keep track of what the boss is going to do next, and it's like, it does add a level of strategy and enjoyment in that way. It's kind of similar to a roguelike in that regard, if we're being honest, because, like, a roguelike, you're going to have to memorize boss movements and stuff like that. It is kind of like that. It's a very, very, very fun game, and with it being included in both PC and Xbox Game Pass, you can just go in and play it and give it a shot without having to worry about dropping I think it's like $40 for it, which would have been a question for me this month, especially considering just how much there is going on between, like I said, Hogwarts Legacy, between, what was the other one? Oh good, we're stuck in traffic now. Between Hogwarts Legacy and everything else. At least they delayed, what's it called? At least they delayed that other game, Fallen Order, to April, which does make me need to redo my entire schedule for expanding Hyperspace Lanes. We were going to have Jedi Fallen, which I'm fine with, because I don't want to. Whatever, we're getting off topic. I don't want to do what we did on Exploring Hyperspace Lanes last week, where Josie and I started plotting the show toward the end of it on the show. So it is a very interesting game, though, and it's very well made, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautifully done the entire way through. And it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in this kind of thing. Because, like, I don't think I've played a game that's this style where I've wanted to go and be like, well, hang on, let me stop what I'm doing and take a little detour over here and go to see what's up on this platform, what's going on over here, what are they doing, like, oh, can I get up there now? Oh, am I going to get a new ability later in the game that's going to let me get up here, maybe? Am I missing another thing that I can jump on? Should I destroy this box? Like, all of these questions that you end up with throughout this game, Like, I don't think I've ever had a game like this where I was like, okay, let me go and just explore for the sake of exploring. And you might find a piece to increase your health bar, or increase your special attack meter, or increase... There's a third thing you can increase. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm like, oh, maybe I'll find one of those just kind of hanging around. And it's an interesting... It is truly interesting that they managed to make that kind of fun in a weird way. If you haven't played the game, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth playing. So I think we'll wrap up there for today, though, because I think I've really covered everything I wanted to cover on this. Hi-Fi Rush is available on Xbox and PC if you have Xbox Game Pass or PC Game Pass, which I got a free trial of PC Game Pass from when I got my new laptop back in August, and I didn't know, so I finally activated it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a great deal for $15. You get all of these games that you can just play, and I think it includes EA Play too, so you get all the EA games that are included in there, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm cool with this. Like, Madden's included in that, and like, that's probably the best way to play Madden, is not paying for it. Like, you know, you have all of this stuff that's kind of just interesting to see play out. I downloaded Octopath Traveler. So I'll eventually play Octopath Traveler now. Because see, the issue was it never decreased in price. It's still like $60. I'm not paying $60 for a game that came out years ago. I'm sorry, Nintendo, but if it's on PC, included in Game Pass, I'll pick that shit up right now. And I downloaded that. I downloaded Life is Strange True Colors, so I still haven't played that, and that's available on there. There was another game I picked up too that I was like, all right, right on. Let's give this a shot. I forgot what it was. Oh god, still bitching about the Empire State Building, which I think they're right too. So I picked up a few games because I want to try and flesh out my video game knowledge of smaller releases. I think I'm getting better about it. I think I've kind of fallen off a little bit in recent years for video games, but I want to get back in there and get back to knowing about games. So we got a packed month. Looking forward to it. Let's see what else is going on. So for this week, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow we will have Knock at the Cabin, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, where, because there's going to be spoilers, we're going to do our usual no spoiler review and then full spoiler review. And I guess the expressway is closed because everyone's getting the fuck off. Joy. So, no, it's not. It's still moving up there. But we're going to do that the way we do Marvel movies, because, you know, also similarly, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania coming out in 2 weeks. We have 80 for Brady, probably Sunday, because Sundays are for football, and, you know, I have plans on Saturday, and also I'm not going Friday night, I don't think. I really don't. Like, it's not a movie I'm particularly engaged with to see to begin with, but if we need content. If I can't get in to see Till, or Triangle of Sadness, then I'm gonna do 80 for Brady, only because I think either of those would be better for me, but whatever, they're not. If they're not playing, then they're not playing. What can I do? Let's see, 80 for Brady. I'm not thrilled about it, but whatever. And then we also have, like I said, the video games. We have next week, we have SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake. I think that'll be, picked it up yesterday, I started playing it yesterday, so probably Tuesday or Wednesday will be that. We also have Hogwarts Legacy the following week. We have Tales of Symphonia Remastered the week after that. And we have, what was the last one? Kirby Return to Dreamland. The remaster for the Switch, the following week. I think March is pretty stacked too. Oh wait, no, because I gotta remove Jedi Survivor from the calendar. So yeah, what else was there? So there was definitely more. So next week on 30-minute reviews, we're going to have Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know I said on the calendar we're going to be doing Empire Records, but I changed my mind on that because I was like, oh yeah, Wakanda Forever did hit Disney Plus today, so they'll give me an excuse to watch that movie again. And I did really enjoy it, even though I had my issues with it. But, you know, if you've listened to this show, you know I have issues with just about every movie I see. But Wakanda Forever, we're going to talk about. And I think Josie and I are going to record that this weekend. So she'll be back for that. And then the following week, we have Ant-Man. We're going to do the original Ant-Man from 1983. No, we're going to do the original Ant-Man from 2016, or 2015, because it came out the year Age of Ultron did. It actually came out about 2 months, a month before we started this podcast. Actually 3 months, because it came out 2 months, because it came out in July, and this podcast started in September with Black Mass, with our first episode, way back in 2015, where me and Peter did that. And then we did eventually do an Ant-Man episode in 30-minute reviews in early 2016 when it hit DVD, but we're getting off topic. That's not what we're going to talk about. So let's go through the schedule again. We have Bad Batch tomorrow morning. Beware of spoilers. We have we're going to do a catch-up on what was that other show? On National Treasure on Friday morning. Saturday morning we'll probably do a catch-up of Poker Face, if I do eventually get through watching Poker Face. It's been a very hectic week, whatever. Then after that we have, in terms of movies, we have definitely Knock at the Cabin, possibly 80 for Brady, possibly Triangle of Sadness, possibly Till, if I can see any of those. And it'll vary. It'll be up on the calendar page. If you go to multipleworldproductions.com/calendar, you can see all of the release dates as they stand now, which again fluctuates with ticket availability, theater screening availability, and the ability for me to get my hands on games or actually watch things, and not having things happen in my personal life that keep me from recording the podcast for a week, which, you know, happened last week. But we'll be staying on schedule. So if any of that interests you, go to multipleworldproductions.com/calendar, and you can check out what we're doing, so that way you can see when we're going to have new episodes that are of interest to you. So until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.